Rolling.
Everybody's rolling. Here we are.
We're rolling, aren't we?
We are. Look at that. Look at us. 3 episodes in.
Today
alone, and we feel like we're just starting.
Oh, it's just like, it feels like a new chapter.
It's been smooth.
It does feel like a new chapter. Like like season 2, but we didn't really finish season 1. We just rolled in, just rolled through, just kept shooting.
Previously on Another Idea.
Yeah, but it's been good, hasn't it? And we've just we've had a meeting this morning or this afternoon. Sorry about just reaching out for more sponsorship now, haven't we?
Yeah.
The numbers are looking good. We've got a media pack built by Merlo, which is looking insane.
Yeah, and lo and behold, we got an exciting email.
Got an email.
Literally, as we're talking about it.
We're not going to disclose who it's from, but just the fact that we were talking about it, and 10 minutes later, somebody from an agency inquired about sponsoring us. So we'll see what comes of that. But if anybody knows anybody, if you're watching, if you're listening, wherever you are, or you've got a mate who's in a marketing department that is enjoying what we're doing here, and you can see the potential,
a brand that would see fit in what we're doing, we'd love to hear from you, because
give us a shout, hit us up.
Things are clearly picking up, so
hopefully we've got a busy winter ahead, haven't we? Straight in with this 3 recordings today. We've got a couple of guests coming up in a couple of weeks, and we've got the Christmas party, 2 guests, and then we're already booking people in for January.
For January, so
which is amazing.
Gotta keep it going, And
you've had a sugar in your chamomile tea.
Here we go.
You absolute weirdo. Josh, would you put a sugar in a chamomile tea?
I don't drink tea, but if I did, I wouldn't do that.
No, lovely. I feel the judgment right now from both sides. It's not even one.
Do they do that in Morocco?
No. Yes.
Oh, right. I thought they would. Yeah, I thought they would.
But it's minty. But they actually specifically say they are kind of like infuse the sugar into it. So
you just had a teaspoon of granulated sugar there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's not quite infused, but
we're a really highbrow podcast, Josh. Welcome to the studio.
Welcome. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm just going to go straight in. How's your mum?
No.
How's Sal doing?
Well, you're not the only person that's asked recently, so no, she's absolutely fantastic.
She's an icon of the community, though, isn't she?
You caught me right off guard there. Yeah, she really is. Yeah, as is yours. I was actually just saying, used to teach me or look after me at Beavers or Cubs or what it was.
Yeah, she used to be Arcala, I think.
Yeah, she did. Yeah,
is it Arcala? Is that the thing? Yeah, I think it is.
I think so.
She lived opposite the Scout Hut, didn't you?
I know. So how's your mum?
Just down there. Yeah, she's well.
Good.
Yeah, all good.
Good.
So me and Josh do know each other.
Yeah, I know.
Known each other for many a year. I shot your wedding, so that was a good time, wasn't it, in Italy, in Puglia?
It was fantastic. It was similar weather to this actually today, which is great.
Lumping it down.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just what you go to Italy for.
Yeah, that's it. But made the most of it.
So really look forward to having a chat with you. It's we spoke a few weeks ago, didn't we? I think, and I was just saying to you, would you like to come on it? And there was something that you said very early on, and me and Igor had talked about the kind of people that we're going to invite onto this podcast, and actually, and I don't mean this in an offensive way, you wouldn't fit the immediate idea of the person we're looking to get on board. Let me just caveat that. I suppose, without going into too much about what you do, I suppose on the face of it, you're like a software engineer, right? Yeah. We're a creativity podcast. Why on earth would we bring a software engineer?
Nah, they're boring. Seriously, why would we have them?
All geeks, all of them, tell you.
But me and you had a chat, and you said to me, like, even the most creative people that have to turn up and do the shit jobs on some days. I was like, yes, this is what people need to hear. And I knew there was going to be loads of other things that we talk about and that you'd bring, value to the discussion. So here you are.
Yeah.
Igor said to me a couple of days ago, having gone through some notes and stuff and doing his deep dives, he went, I really, 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 really like Josh.
Yeah, it's true. Kindish, yeah. He's got a lot to... There's a lot of intersections there. But
go on, Igor, you go.
But I was going to say that as soon as you walked in through the door, I'm like, come here, man.
Yeah.
Just give me a hug.
He gives a good hug.
I feel like I very much know you, and you are very much a creative at heart. Not just looking at your website and everything else, but looking for your feed, just in general.
He lives a good life, doesn't he, Josh?
He does. He very much does.
One of our friends, Harry, I don't know if Harry Michael messaged me the other week as well. He went, I'm at Soho House and one of your former grooms is here. And I went, no. In my head, I'm like, I know which one. I was like, which one? He went, the one with the really gorgeous
locks of hair.
I went, Josh. Josh is there, is he?
You mean Aquaman? Yeah.
So yeah, you love a Soho House. Well, we all do, don't we? We all love a Soho House.
I'm quite a big
They'd
fan.
be a great sponsor, wouldn't they?
They would be an amazing sponsor.
Oh, yeah, one day.
You need to just do some sort of viral marketing around the houses. Just leave your kind of business cards everywhere and see what happens. Just
litter the venue.
literally everywhere. But I felt like I've known you too,
stickers
really.
in the toilet. Stickers in the toilet, actually. Like bands do.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. You've got all
Those
the
are annoying though.
Yeah, the ones that are out of reach.
right on the ceiling.
you got all the photo booths and everything. Just whack your cards on there.
Yeah.
I'm sure something will
Yeah.
happen. But yeah, I was saying I felt like I've known you watching you guys do your thing. You know, you get to know people quite well, don't you? So yeah, very very much from the same kind of mindset, I feel.
Thank you. No, we're gonna have fun today.
Oh yeah, I'm dead excited. I don't know where to start really. I feel like we should just go with the very first question we wrote, which is, what do you do, Josh? But actually, more importantly, what don't you do?
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
the list that me and Igor came up with was quite unbelievable. So some of the things that Josh does, you don't necessarily get paid for these, but you do these.
Sadly,
things,
not all of them, though.
right? So obviously, you're a software engineer, and we'll go into that in a bit. But you've
Yeah.
done and have been known to do chefing, DJing, conference host, podcasting, engineer, YouTube.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add to the list? I'm sure.
Influencer.
I don't think so. Sadly, not. I've not made it there yet. One day, maybe. But no. Yeah, just really like being busy. That's it, really. I can't sit still very well. And I get bored quite quickly. So try to fill myself with as many challenging things as possible.
Yeah.
And that's why I've got a massive list of things that I sent you.
But it's a mark of a great creative, though. A good creative mind usually it doesn't stay
Hopefully.
still and just keeps on going, keeps on churning.
And we should just stress as well, it isn't just that you do those things, you tend to do them to a remarkably high level, to the point where you could, if you wanted to, go and do chefing as a career.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure you know enough about it.
I actually feel like looking at some of the dishes that you were getting ready and everything else, I'm like, why haven't been invited to your house for a nice meal or anything like that? Because that'd be nice.
Well, I think the thing with that is if you're going to do something like that, for example, you kind of need to respect the industry and what you're going into. So I think just saying I can cook a pop-up for 8 people is one thing, but doing it well to a point where you're not offending everyone in the industry is another thing, really. So that's kind of the other side of that, I guess.
It's really cool. Where shall we jump? I don't know.
I suppose let's just talk about what Josh actually does first and foremost, because I think that'll open up a few doors. So I said software engineer.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me in a lot more
It's not.
detail that it's not a software engineer. We're not to say IT. It's not IT.
It's that
You
classic.
just give us a bit of give us a background of like what industry you're in, how you kind of found yourself in that industry, and what you do on a sort of day-to-day basis.
Yeah, sure. So, regardless, depending on who you speak to about this, if you ask my mum, for example, you'll probably get Sal. Sorry, Sal, if you do watch this. There's a variety of different responses. I don't work for Google. I haven't created the internet. There's none of that. So, I'm a software consultant essentially. So I run a software consultancy in my day-to-day business, which means I basically work with different companies to build software, to build teams that build software, and to generally deliver products. So good example is work with the NHS to deliver a massive learning platform, one of the biggest learning platforms in the NHS. Also worked on technology to protect children online from child abuse. Also built publishing platforms, also done blah, blah, blah. There's loads of different projects basically. But I run my own company, and as part of that I kind of go to different companies and try and embed some of my experience and some of the kind of cultural ways of working that I believe are the right ways to do things, or not the right way, but the kind of better ways to do things. And the beauty of that is going from different companies, you kind of hoover up all these different nuggets of kind of advice and expertise from other people who are far better than you are, and you can kind of form a picture in your head of what a good engineer looks like, and then you can help create those engineers in businesses that need them. So that's what I get paid mostly to do.
How did you find your way into that? Like let's just go back to like when you left school.
Yeah.
What was your kind of career path like from school to being a software engineer at the
It's
level
something
you're
very
at?
specific.
Yeah,
and very
I've always
broad at the same time.
loved computers. Like from the second I put my eyes on a computer, my aunt had a Commodore 64. I was obsessed with it. Track and field, anyone?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was track and field got me into computers. But the thing that kept me there was the kind of creativity of programming a computer. So you had a computer sitting in front of you, originally there was no UI on it. It wasn't like as nice as the Apple Macs these days. The Commodore just had like a text-based input. I just love that you could feed stuff into it and it'd do things based on what you said. So that was my first kind of touch point.
That was the bug.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this is cool, and it looks kind of geeky and hipster. I was like, that's quite nice. And then, went to university to study a really vague subject called business computing, which is horrendously titled. It covered neither business nor computing, and it cost me about 12 grand. So that was a complete waste of time.
Okay.
But uni was a really good thing for many other reasons, as I'm sure you can imagine. But one of the things that helped me get into doing it as a job is that I was doing a kind of call center job at this place called Dubbit in Leeds, and they were kind of a weird company where they would do kind of surveys with kids, like focus groups and stuff, but they'd also build like virtual worlds, like Habba Hotel and things like that, if you remember. So one day I was doing the cold call kind of job as just a way to make money, and I went upstairs to chat to a guy called Matthew Warneford, who was running the digital department, and got talking to him, and then before I knew it, he kind of offered me a job working with him as a programmer, and then it kind of went from there, and I got more experienced, and then set up on my own, and the rest is history, really.
Wow.
That in itself is just how to unpick that.
Yeah.
It's the power of just stepping out of your, whatever your bubble is, to go and just speak to other people and to network, and not knowing where that's going to go. I think is huge.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And today, what sort of projects are you doing?
Well, like today, as in like what we're working on right now.
Yeah, in general.
So right now I'm working for a company where we're building technology to help surface and kind of manage mis and disinformation. So the kind of ethos is behind it is trying to make the internet a kind of safer place and a better place for productive discourse.
So he's going after Trump.
Yeah.
He's definitely.
Do you like Josh now? You really like Josh, don't you?
Well, the internet's can we swear on this podcast?
Yeah, you can swear all you
The
want,
internet's
Josh.
full of shit,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of it.
And Josh is going to clean it up.
Well, we'll
Josh
never
save everybody. Come on, Josh.
We'll never fully clean it up, sadly. But yeah, the idea is that we try and remove the noise from, if you go on Twitter or you go on any of these social platforms, there's a lot of noise that inhibits really good discourse around good topics, and you get people using it for political gain.
Where do you even start with a subject, with an issue
what I mean.
like that?
It's really hard. I mean, we can go into that if you want, but there's loads of different technology where you can start to look at connecting different graphs of people together and look at the kind of narratives that they're talking about and look at who the kind of conspirators of misinformation are and things like that. It gets really interesting. And it gets really political. It gets, there's a lot of toxicity as well.
Yeah.
And
I guess you start seeing patterns as well, quite evidently. And
I mean, a good example, not a good example, but an example of where this is prominent at the moment is the Ukraine war.
Yeah,
it's been kind of labelled one of the first digital wars in many ways, and I think this is a really interesting space to be looking at how bot accounts and different kind of fake news, if you will, is being spread from different angles. It's a really interesting problem.
It's an incredible world, isn't it? I mean, even listening to Nihal on 5 Live yesterday, he was talking about how he got Greta Thunberg on as an interviewee, and he'd announced it on his Twitter, and within moments of telling people that he was going to be speaking to Greta, he'd got climate conspiracy theorists or basically people saying it's bullshit. It's not man-made. It's just hype. The world is fine. Stop it. And you're like, what? Where do these people live?
where did they come from?
Where are they coming from?
Yeah.
The thing is, it's not about suppressing those people because they exist in society.
Yeah.
And that's
true.
That's going to always be the case. It's about ensuring that people who are looking for the right information can find it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you're getting bombarded by a certain narrative, it's really hard to see what the truth is.
And those people have clearly been bombarded by a certain narrative.
Yeah,
in the first place, right? Because
I
mean, we're all entitled to an opinion, but to deny the fact of science and the data that they already have. Anyway, it's just a fascinating
it's
topic.
a really
isn't
interesting
it?
conversation, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just the fact that he got literally harassed within minutes of that going out. You're like,
loads of bots.
Yeah.
Well, but bots or genuine people that genuinely believe that.
It gets really messy because you get into situations where you've got just genuine hate speech, like the Kanye thing at the moment. Like Kanye, obviously getting dropped by everyone at the moment. which is amazing to see that, you know, he's not kind of getting away with it. Not that that's the right way to say it, but
you know,
but he's being held
to account.
Accountability.
But that's purely hate speech.
Yeah.
That's nothing other than that. It's not mis or disinformation. It's just hate speech, which is very separate from mis and disinformation, where it's spread either by accident because someone doesn't know they're spreading something that's in untrue, or it's being spread because someone's got an agenda and they want to try and influence something.
I think that's where fact checkers are such an important thing these days, really, where you can have a specific source that you really, really trust, that it's legit, fact checked, and at least you can find specific truth that is going to be biased. Yeah, to some point it's always going to be biased, but it's important to get
so
that.
Just in terms of the sort of day-to-day job now, then, this is part of the key reason why I wanted to ask you out to speak on the podcast, is that, like, how does creativity feature in your job?
Yeah.
And I suspect that as an engineer, there is never a one-size-fits-all kind of solution. And
I'm so sorry.
Josh.
I could have sworn that. I could have.
Let's see.
Her ears were burning.
It's Edinburgh.
Sack Edinburgh off. It can wait. I could have sworn that I put that on silent.
It's fine. It's not the first time it's happened.
Sal's ears are burning.
Are you coming round for tea, Josh?
Do you know what? I think it was about 4 weeks ago. She's like, "What do you want for tea?" I was like, "Mum, we'll figure it out on the day. It'll be all right." So at the moment, I'm working with this company called Logically. I'm their VP of engineering at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of blended role where it's technical and leadership based. So I like different sorts of roles. So it might be hands-on one time where you're spending all day coding, working on a code base, trying to build a digital thing, physical to me, a digital thing to ship in, you know, and put it out there into the world and for people to start using. That's really enjoyable, and there's lots of sides of creativity to coding and working with other people to collaborate and build something.
Yeah.
And then the other side is the leadership side of things. So, you know, I'm leading a team of about 50 or 60 at the moment, and we're working to build platforms and products on top of that. And my role is to work on, like, the architecture, so the code side of stuff, but then also the strategy for the team, how we go and raise more money because it's a startup, and how we make this thing more valuable and how we build more traction with it, basically. So a few different facets to it based on this kind of role that I'm working in right now.
It's really cool.
Yeah. I feel really inferior and like inadequate now, because I feel like Josh has got loads going on.
It sounds way cooler than it is.
What I'm thinking is, I think you got the best of both worlds in some ways, because you are self-employed, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And but at the same time, you're able to jump into these corporate companies that are doing quite big
juggernauts of companies, aren't they?
Yeah. And get involved, and at the same time you can at the end of the day say bye.
Like a try before you buy, really. It's great. Please don't sack me, whoever's going.
No one's watching. No one watches.
Please keep paying the invoices. I think it's quite a fortunate position to be in, you know, and I never really forget that. There's a lot of interesting kind of challenges in different industries at the moment. COVID's definitely hit a lot of industries at the moment really hard. So I'm very fortunate that the industry's, you know, managed to survive through COVID, because it's you know, it's kind of made for it in a way. You know, it's always been a distributed kind of industry. We've always been able to work remotely and everything. So, but yeah, I think it's just a really fortunate thing to be able to walk into a company like that and to try and work with people that are just really smart. I think it's great.
What are the struggles that you face, like working in the Studio Ninja, Igor?
Here we go.
Yeah, I'm off again. But I just wanted to talk about one more thing, because I think, and I'm not here to criticise one of our sponsors, but I think they're missing a trick.
Ooh, shots fired. Tell us what
so
you
think. It claims to be designed by photographers for photographers, which it is. It is designed by photographers for photographers. So I'm not arguing that. But it's not just for photographers.
That's it. So much
I just think it's for anybody that's in a service-based industry. This piece of software is invaluable. I've had friends that are MUAs, hairstylists, florists, stylists. You know, you name it. I've had them all reach out, and I've given them sort of guidance and setting them up that have gone on to use Studio Ninja and like, this is invaluable for our business.
Yeah.
So if Studio Ninja are listening and watching this back, might want to think about who you're targeting it to, because actually I think they're missing a trick. I think there's a whole market. There's a whole market out there that, you don't just need to be a photographer or a videographer in the wedding industry. If you are a service-based industry and you've got clients or couples, whoever they may be, and you need to book people in, you need to send them automated emails, invoices, the system and the software is there for anybody to use in whichever business they're operating in.
Yeah, get Studio Ninja.
There you go. So what's the discount code, Igor?
Oh.
You should know it by now because I've told you a few times.
Let me see.
I wonder what it could be.
I'm guessing. I'm joking. It's another idea. It's that simple. So if you go to Studio Ninja, type in that at the checkout, and you'll get 50% off for the whole year, and you'll get the first month free.
You get the first month free, and then another idea gets 50% off their first annual subscription.
There we go.
There you go. Sorted.
Go get it.
What are the struggles that you face, like working as somebody that's self-employed in a what is obviously quite a corporate world? Are you few and far between, or in terms of being self-employed? Like, are you a bit of a rarity, or is there an army of self-employed people working there that are in the same boat?
Depends on the role. So for leadership roles, definitely there are less consultants and contractors in that position. For logistical reasons as well. So you've got a regulation called IR35 where you can't be seen as a full-time employee in a contract position, essentially. That's the looseness of it. This keeps changing based on political changes recently, if we ignore what's happened with our government. IR35 has kind of come and gone in terms of what the actual regulation is around it. But that causes some challenges in terms of how you interact with the companies, because in a leadership role like the one I'm in now, ideally you'll line manage, ideally you'll be able to do things that permanent members will be done, but you're also under the umbrella of the protection of that company. Whereas with myself as a consultant or a contractor, I need my own liability insurance that covers me for if I make a mistake on the job. But also I need to be respectful of the IR35 rules and make sure that I don't do a permanent person's job, but billing it as an independent, basically. So that's the kind of more boring side of things. But there's obviously political side of things too. When you come in with fresh eyes, you see loads of problems everywhere, and that doesn't always get you good friends in those companies. But obviously there's a tactful way of doing it, and you've got to kind of win friends over and start to try and make change happen a bit more kind of slowly.
Yeah.
How'd you go about that?
Carefully. It doesn't always work.
I was just thinking of it. It's like that's what we need to. That's what we need to do. I think, like what from what I know of you and have known of you, is that you're very affable and likable and approachable, and you have a really just an open personality. Like I feel like if I was working under Josh, that I'd be able to go and have a chat to him.
Hey,
we've got this problem.
I'm struggling with this, and
I suppose I'm just trying to sort of tap into how you approach going into those organisations.
Yeah.
As hey, I'm Josh, the nice curly hair.
Yeah. It helps to be recognised, though, I tell you. I think the being an engineer as well, I think helps bring some sort of credibility to the role, really. So when you're going in somewhere as an architect or as an engineer or as a leader in that space, having the skills and having kind of a track record of delivering those things helps. There's a bit of an issue in the industry where you've got a lot of people in those management roles that maybe are just not close enough to the metal of it all and just can't really understand the inner workings of how to build technology and what it takes to build a cohesive team that does that. And as a result of that, you get that kind of, well, they don't get it, the leaders don't understand, it's just senior management, it's bollocks. So I think part of it is working with the team.
Sorry, Sal. Joshua, I'll tell him off in a bit.
She's going to be calling again.
She won't be listening this far in. She'll have listened to the first 5 minutes. She'll have heard her name mentioned.
She's got the summary in. So I think just kind of working on the kind of team culture, starting with the people. I know it's a very cliche thing, but ultimately trying to understand the problems between teams and understanding why they might not be working so well together. Often everyone really cares. It's just, and there's no malice in it. It's just that they don't really understand what you're trying to achieve, or they don't believe in leadership and they don't really feel safe psychologically in where they are. So, I think the people is where it always starts, and that's regardless of industry, right? That's not a tech specific thing.
No, of course not. I mean, how's that kind of changed over the past sort of decade that you've been in the industry? Just over a decade?
Longer than that now.
How's it kind of evolved? That kind of.
I think. It's been pretty constant. I think the diversity of the industry has definitely changed, and that's definitely obviously a fantastic thing. I think we're seeing a lot of kind of fresh blood get into some of these leadership positions and starting to really disrupt the way that companies work. I've worked with the right mix of companies, from really small startups that have just gone through Series A all the way through to massive enterprise companies with more politics than you can shake a stick at. And it's kind of like, well, between them all, it's, you know, there's a concerted effort to try and support and progress people's careers.
Yeah,
it didn't used to be there in that way. I don't think, but obviously, certainly my perspective of the industry, I've only been in it for 17 years or something like that.
Yeah, no, it's good to hear. And it's something that's seen, really, that the fact that people are a lot more aware of the diversity, inclusion that people need to make, or companies need to make in order to progress forward, really. And when you see that from a quite visible standpoint, not just simply from the ground floor, but literally starting from the top, it's great, really.
Yeah, I think that, like in any industry, again, like you need to, if you look at a business, you need to see a business that you can imagine yourself being in. And if you just see a bunch of white guys there, it's not going to work, is it?
Yeah.
For a lot of people, they don't feel included in that, and it's not accessible to them, regardless of skill sets or regardless of experience, really. And that's one of the real challenges tech's had from the start, almost, really. And it's due to loads of different reasons, from privilege to access to resources and access to good career progression, which, you know, sadly a lot of minority groups don't have access to. So that's really why I started the events and started trying to build communities that I felt comfortable in, me as a privileged white male, but then also trying to use that as a platform to make somewhere that everyone feels comfortable and included in. And as a result of that, everyone learns and betters themselves, and the industry benefits too. So
and this is what I love about you, just literally just looking and doing research into you. Literally, you constantly creating events, constantly creating these like pop-up shows, and no matter how big or small they are, really. How come and why? Because
where does that come from?
Yeah, just wanting to get community people together. It seems to be a very, very clear sort of like thread, let's say. Yeah.
Funny enough, I didn't realise until I was preparing for this that it was all around communities, and it's all about whether you're sharing food that you love, or you're listening to music that you like in a club, or if you're going to a conference. It's all about the same things, really.
A bit of a foodie, aren't we, Josh?
Love it.
On your form, when we ask about any dietary requirements, your response was, "You will do well to find something I don't like," which is just I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you have. I hope you found something. But
I've got some food for you. Don't you? But obviously, you're getting around to sales in a bit, so we don't want to feed you too much. So you've done. Like we touched on at the start. You've done chefing. You've DJ'd to people, and you've DJ'd to nobody.
Yep, that's how it works. You can't have all the glory.
Explain what happened on that one.
Which one? I can't. Have I told you something in the notes that I've forgotten about?
You DJ'd with Craig Charles.
Yes, Craig Charles.
Charles.
He's nuts.
Yeah. And then you DJ'd to an empty space.
Oh, that was soul destroying.
Was that COVID?
I think it was. Yeah. Yes, of course. Yeah. So yeah,
kind of like a live stream, didn't you? But there was nobody in the.
It's like, hi, I'm giving you my TED talk. Nobody.
It's character building when you're doing it to absolutely no one. Yeah. I just think it's about being uncomfortable. So, you know, the pop-ups were really fun. I say were because we've not done one since COVID. We're going to get back to it now, but we'll just ignore that whole period. But yeah, I think the pop-ups were something that we did a lot of research into. I spoke to a lot of my chef friends. I'm always the guy that's trying to get into the kitchen at any sort of restaurant and try and say, how did you do that? And it's probably really fucking annoying.
Elsa will be like, fucking hell, Josh.
She literally, honestly, if you speak to her, she'll say exactly that. And I'm super annoying in many ways.
She won't go out with you anymore because she's just embarrassing.
Yeah, literally. She'll be like,
go on your own, mate.
Yeah, if we go to a nice restaurant, she's like, we're not really here for this, are we?
You want to be behind them.
But, you know, it's about being a bit uncomfortable and trying to push yourself. So, you know, the thing I was thinking of on the way over here is we did a pop-up called Lobster and Tail, lobster themed menu and cocktails. And on the day of the pop-up, there was, service was probably 4 hours away from getting things kicked off. And 70 live lobsters turn up, and I'm like, shit, I've overcooked this a little bit. I don't know what to do here. So I think it's about being uncomfortable and trying to figure out how to not completely knacker it, but just get it on that fine line of success. And it's not always successful, obviously. A lot of things go wrong too. But
the fact that you just go out and just experiment and you're prepared to try these things constantly and push yourself to you play it. I think you downplay it. You know, you do these to an incredibly high level
standard. Yeah,
you know, you look at like the conferences that you've launched with. Is it Haystack?
Yes, it's called Hay Presents now. Yeah, so
Hay Presents.
Yeah, so it's,
you know, they're huge and look incredibly well produced. You know, you're good at DJing. I've seen your lobster and tail stuff and your other pop-ups. Like, it's a very high standard of food. It's like you set these really high standards and you just give it a shot. And it's this kind of approach of, what I love about you is this just approach of, I'm just going to give it a shot. I'm just going to give it a go. And I think that's something that so many people are lacking often.
Yeah.
Is this idea that they can't do it because they don't know how to.
Yeah.
It's like,
and if it fails, okay, that's
saw it on it was a podcast the other day. So there was it came up on Instagram, some podcast, and it was a woman talking about her mum saying to her, everything is figure outable. I don't know if you'd seen that or not.
No, I haven't.
It was just like that made her, it was a penny dropping moment of going, God, I can just figure it out.
Yeah.
And when I look at everything that you've done, it's like you've got that approach to going, well, it's just a process. Let's just work through it.
Yeah, I think it's because in most instances it's going to be better than you found it, right? So you're probably going to learn something, and you're probably going to have done something where it'll make people think a little bit, and it'll be good. Like, okay, as long as you don't poison someone, that's kind of the bar.
That's kind of a given,
there is like a baseline here. Yeah. Like, so, you know, like I was saying, respect for the industry.
Yeah.
You know, I've got lots of chefy friends, and I want them to think that I'm doing a good job of it. I want to make them proud almost. So you do the research, you try and get all your health and safety quality. You know, you do all things by the book and do it properly. But ultimately, you're still taking a big risk because you're figuring a lot of it out on the day. Like me killing 20 lobsters or 70 lobsters. Yeah. Sorry if you're not. I know you're not. Apologies.
It's all right.
But you know, it's stuff like this. You know, you're trying to figure it out on the day, and it's quite the excitement of that. You can't beat the buzz of service or DJing in front of people or running a conference. Live events, as you know, is just like there's so many things that can go wrong.
Yeah. It feels like that's the next point of discussion, isn't it?
Yeah. Hay Presents, really. How come you started it? Where did you see sort of like a gap in the market to what you could sort of like fulfill within that, really?
The truth is I didn't really see a gap in the market at the time. So I started in 2013. We used to have a office in a building like this, really, in the centre of Leeds. And our office was upstairs, but they had a really great space downstairs. And I was just like, there's a gap for, I guess there is a gap in the market, yeah. There's a gap for a community, a meetup where people come together and talk about tech. So just innocently started it, and people came, and it started to get a bit bigger. Loads of interesting pain points of growth, because it was a pub, it was a working pub next to the student union.
You're going to need to make some notes here. Shall I make some notes on
how to do
developing a conference? Yeah, come on, Josh. Let's really get some ideas out of him whilst he's here. Come on, carry on, Josh. Where were you?
Well, the first thing would be don't do it in a pub, because while it's a pub next to a student union, we had like people dressed as dwarves crashing them. Yeah. It was an absolute nightmare.
So do not do in a pub.
But yeah, so it grew from there, really, and we, you know, started to get sponsorship, and you know, like you guys are looking for now. It's nice when you at least have someone that helps break even and supports something in a way that you can grow a bit more.
Yeah. Did you find yourself getting in touch with companies to sponsor your events, or did you find that things sort of like gravitated to you in a more organic way? Or
initially, the organic way. People were really interested in having their name associated with this meetup. I guess a bit of kind of, you know, community support, a bit of your kind of social responsibility as a larger company in Leeds. It helps get your name out there. And then, as we've grown more, you know, the conferences, which they're a lot bigger, they're about 300 people, one of the biggest single track conferences in the north now. But as a result of that, the ask for money is obviously a more significant. So for my own kind of pride, I want to put together a sponsor pack where they understand what they're buying into and what they get for that money. And as part of that, it's not a return of investment. Like
sponsor packs, sponsor pack.
Well, we've got that. We've built it anyway. Murder's on it.
I tell you what, a nice PDF goes a long way, you know, because most of them are really shit.
Yeah, we have our media kit.
We'll show you our one in Canva in a bit.
It's a beautiful
slick,
thing,
isn't it?
Yeah, please do. But yeah, I mean that's the thing. So like, I want them to realise that an investment into the conference or the event it's not an immediate ROI. You're not going to get your money's worth out of that immediately. You're investing in a community that allows people to learn more, to share stories more, and just to foster that kind of community. You're not buying anything or anyone, and that's the really important point of it. I think a lot of people get it quite wrong the other way, where tech recruiters have quite a bad name in tech, because often they try and create these inorganic communities where it's solely for the purpose of a talent pool that they pull from, and that is often met with quite bad responses from candidates, because it's not the right way to build a community. You've got an agenda there. It's not the right thing to do.
So what was the purpose of the conference then? Just to go right down to the beginning then, before we talk about where it is now. What was what was its goal or purpose when you did that first one next to a pub?
So the conference, we outgrew the pub luckily. So we went from kind of different space to different space until we ended up at this place called the Belgrave in Leeds. Really cool venue. It's actually a gig venue, but they've got loads of sofas in there, so it was a really cosy place for people to come and sit and watch talks and have a beer if they wanted to, and then just leave if they didn't have to network. But the conference started because there was a festival called Leeds International Festival in Leeds about 7 years ago. I was on the steering board for that festival, but also
of course he was.
Quite again, just give me that. I want to be part of that. But as a result of that, got some kind of bootstrap funding to bring some people to Leeds. I'm immensely proud of the North and Leeds, and I want to bring as much things into Leeds away from London as possible, because it always gets the.
I always hear good things about Leeds though. There's a lot going on, and it's one of the cities we've looked at for doing our AGM, isn't it? And we'll chat about that.
Makes sense.
We'll talk about that off camera in a bit.
It's a good city, and this is the thing. I've not got a beam about London. It's more like London gets a lot of funding, it gets a lot of focus. So really, it's about bringing people's awareness to Leeds to put a big conference on up here. It's not the first conference that's ever been in Leeds, and it won't be the last. But it felt like the right thing to do at the right time, and it's just grown from there.
With the talent's up here.
Yeah, the talent's up here, but also you can bring international talent in, and you can get them to shout about Leeds, which is huge, because you've got people coming from the US who work for Google and stuff, and they're just...
I went to Leeds.
Like,
where?
Yeah, honestly, when we were in the conference a few years ago, someone came back from the US and they're like, I've just had a Yorkshire pudding wrap. I was like,
brilliant.
It was great.
So where does the conference sit now? Like, what's its what sort of stage are you at? Where does it sit?
So it's as I said, it's about a 300 person capacity. It's in the centre of Leeds. It's in an Everyman cinema. Everyman's got a really nice site in Leeds. Tried to find the right indie site for it, because Everyman's quite a big company. I tried to find the right mix, but so hard to find good square footage in any city centre really. But they've got a beautiful space, a massive cinema screen which code and everything looks beautiful on, and also these massive sofas that you can just sit and chill out in all day. So the attendees love it, the speakers love it, because they've got an amazing screen to put their work on display. The sofa is a little bit too comfy. We've had a few people fall asleep here and there. But hopefully not for the topics.
That's it. It just means that the speaker's got to be engaging in it.
Exactly. Try and pump the cold air through the room. Just keep. But yeah, so I'm really proud of where it is. We're in our 7th year. It'll be next year. We've got an amazing MC called Phil Hawksworth, who just comes every year, and him doing the talking and the emceeing helps me run the event really smoothly and keep it on point. And I'm quite OCD with everything. So
note to self: get an MC.
Honestly, it's the best thing you can do. It feels like you want to host it yourself, but you can't curate and program it as well.
I can imagine just the behind the scenes stuff that you need to oversee is. We've already found it just doing a small audience here, like the stress levels just creep up.
You find yourself everywhere, don't you?
It's just easy to make a mistake or a slip up, isn't it? And actually just having, I suppose, that responsibility given to somebody else just kind of takes the pressure off, doesn't it?
Yeah, or if, because there's two of you, one of you could host and just focus on that, and the other could do all the boring stuff behind the scenes.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors. What advice can you give us on a selfish sort of perspective? What advice can you give us as someone that wants to build a great community and wants to build a conference one day?
I think we've got a similar kind of approach in terms of what we're trying to offer our communities, and your community is just in the slightly different space, isn't it?
Yeah.
How do we copy Josh?
Yeah, that's it.
That's what we want to know.
Yeah.
No, not copy. We want to be inspired, don't we?
Yeah.
On a serious note.
What do you want to achieve? Why are you doing it?
Are they allowed to ask us questions?
Yeah, 100%. This is where it gets.
Why are we doing it?
Where it gets real.
Okay. Well, I suppose part of it boils down to the reasons why we founded this podcast, which is to give give a voice to smaller businesses and creatives and entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And then it feels like the AGM is an extension of that
on a bigger scale.
On a slightly bigger scale with a bit more interaction that, the podcast and YouTube's great.
Yeah.
But
we want to be able to
want to
give that to the audience through an experience, not just simply through a talk, but yes, the visuals themselves will be an experience. It'll be quite interactive.
Yeah.
We'll want to really get people involved and really take them through a story, really.
And just to inspire people.
Yeah, that's it.
Really, that's really it.
That's what I was getting to.
We want to inspire people that are either at the beginning of that journey or even already on that journey that just need a reset or need a bit of a creative kind of kick up the arse, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Or people that are just on the edge and like, I don't know if I can do it, but then come to it and go, no, I'm gonna follow my that inner calling that we all have.
Yeah.
And this is why I've loved talking to you. It's because you have that calling all the time and you constantly listen to it and go, I'm gonna go and do that.
Yeah.
And that's a massive barrier for a lot of people.
Yeah.
People don't go and do what you do.
Yeah.
Well, it's the correct answer, by the way. Well done.
Thanks, Josh. Yes.
You're already starting with the right intention, which is not to make money, because it's very unlikely you will make much money in that particular event space.
Right now, hold on now.
You look at really successful conference brands like TED, for example. They've taken quite obviously got huge amounts of funding, and they've gone straight for gold in terms of what they're trying to achieve there. Some of it's a money-making vehicle, but some of it is about trying to get different companies involved. Your kind of aim here is completely bang on, because you're not going to make any money or some money maybe, but this is more about how you foster the community you've already kind of created through this and through what you're doing already. So you've already kind of done the hardest part, because you've got at least some interaction and some interest in that kind of thought leadership in terms of what you're trying to do. So really, a lot of it's about logistics now and how you ensure that event, when people get there, is as inclusive and as accessible as possible, and also allows you to make people leaving that event feeling like, shit, I just want to go and take loads of photos. I want to build this website, or do because
I want people's heads hurting and hearts pounding really when they leave that room.
Around the head.
Yeah, ideally don't physically abuse the attendees.
We do that all visually.
If your head's not hurting, come up onto the stage.
Not
You've got a stick.
If you've got the ceremonial cricket bat, it might not work so well.
Creativity.
But that's the thing, one of the things that's been really exciting to see with the conference grow is that people have been leaving and going to the social after and just talking about how excited they are to go and create and go and do something like that. And I'm sure you'll achieve the same thing from the sorts of talks that you program. Also, how you program those talks is really important, how the energy flows through the day.
I mean, I think we haven't gone into too much planning at the moment. We've not even finalised speakers yet, but it's just kind of keeping that open format, isn't it? Similar to what we do here in having a discussion. And we just kind of see it. Obviously there'll be an element of curation in the terms of
100%.
the topics that we're going to talk about. We want to kind of guide that conversation a little bit. It's not just going to be a, hey, how you doing, mate? You all right? How's your day been? It's going to be there's going to be certain topics that we want to delve into, but I think we just want to. It's that experience, isn't it, and that inspiration that we want to provide. And it isn't a goal to make money. I mean, it would be nice if we could, cover.
Don't
costs.
get me wrong.
It needs
important
to cover costs, but also from a social point of view, I kind of like the challenge of it as well.
Yeah, I constantly say to Sam, nah, we have to make money.
Well, no. The reality is, obviously, you have to make money, because if it doesn't succeed, you can't do it anymore. And it has to have longevity. It has to be sustainable, right? You can't be at a loss every time. So the money thing is, as much as we joke about it, you have to make money. It's just that you have to make money in a sincere way. You can't profit from the community in that way. And that's the difference, right? You want people to feel buzzing from what you're doing. You want people to share stories. Oh, you're doing this, I did that. Oh, cool. How did you do that? And just like these sorts of conversations right now. But the programming is an interesting one, and think about how the energy flows. If it's a day-long event, like how long are you thinking of doing it for?
1 day,
One day.
Full day?
1 day, full day. We've got four speakers.
Yeah.
So they'd be an hour and a half each, maybe. Adequate breaks, bit of game time between them or something like that. Just a bit of networking time.
Yeah, nice. But think about like we do these things called CFPs, call for papers. So anyone that wants to talk can submit a talk essentially through a formalised process.
Okay.
And that allows us to ensure that we have.
Say that again. CFP.
CFP. I think it's called call for papers.
Okay.
I think it's from some sort of academic background. That I have no clue where it's from. But yeah, so the good thing about that sort of approach is that it allows you to kind of vet people, not just for the quality of the talks, but to ensure you hit your kind of D&I quota and make sure that you're representing the community through people that you're putting on for the talks. Because as amazing as those 4 talks might be, for example, you might just have the same ethnic groups or the same, gender kind of.
It's been one of the things we've talked about from the office, that it will be diverse and inclusive when it will.
Has to.
There's no excuse for it not being.
But you have to really force that. So like my rule is like never over 40% white, like male at all, and at least try and get good representation from LGBTQ plus, and try and just ensure that there's a stage full of people that really represents the diversity of the community that exists. And the problem is that they might not have always had the same access to these sorts of things. So we need to see a change in the industry by billing people like that. It's just, and the call for papers helps with that, because it helps you kind of get a good visibility of the pool of people that want to speak. And it's, and obviously you can curate too. Yeah.
I kind of like the idea of actually, although we'll have chosen 3 or 4 speakers, maybe we open one of the spaces up to somebody that's actually put themselves forward to speak.
Yeah, and do stuff like diversity tickets. Give tickets away to minorities that might not have access to this sort of stuff. Get the pricing right on the ticket, where you can give away tickets like that and try and draw more people in. So there's lots of different ways to do it. There's not a right way, but there's definitely a wrong way, which is to not offer any of it.
So Josh is basically going to be our mentor for the conference. Josh, I spoke to you yesterday on the day before, but got another question.
Well, I'm looking for another project actually. So.
Don't joke around with our hearts. Don't play with our hearts. Don't play with our hearts.
No. Brilliant. No, that's got my mind racing again.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. So, Sam.
So, Igor,
Studio Ninja.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about our sponsor. And I was wondering about what we need to say in this little section, because I really want to talk about just how vital it is to my business. And one thing that came up recently was in my own business was that I was thinking about whether I need to get a VA on board. Mm-hmm. Like, do I need somebody that's going to help me just perform some of the admin tasks? And when I looked at it, and it really boiled down to what do I need somebody on board for, I realised that I don't actually do much admin.
Yeah,
and I don't do much admin purely because of Studio Ninja.
Yeah,
everything's automated. My invoices, my diary, my questionnaires that I send out,
email templates, chasing up invoices.
Everything's fully automated to the point where it doesn't take a huge amount of my time anyway. So it kind of defeats the whole point of a VA. So for me, it is a very integral part of my business. Yeah. And I think when you're running a business, you're self-employed like we are, being efficient, being productive, making sure that things run in the right order. If you find yourself doing any kind of repeat task, you have to say to yourself, why am I repeating this?
Automate it.
And if you can automate it, then that's it. And that's really where Studio Ninja fits in with me and my business. And they have very kindly given us a discount code, haven't they, for this podcast? So what's that discount code, Igor?
Another idea.
And another idea gets you 50% off your first annual subscription.
Yeah.
So it's just a no-brainer. I mean, I wouldn't even be hanging around. Just go and look at Studio Ninja.
Just go and do it right now.
But thank you very much, guys, for sponsoring this podcast. We love you. We appreciate you. Keep it up.
We love Studio Ninja. Something, again, which is really, really left field. Really, really left field. But that I really wanted to just get your opinion and see if you have anything to say about it. But it's AI in art, really. It seems to be exploding at the moment. And really, just really, really growing and really appearing to the forefront of social media in general, really. But things like Mid-Journey, I don't know if you know, and what do you think and how do you see it sort of like developing and growing in general, really?
Oh, it's so interesting because there's more possibilities of creation now, right? So there's so many different ways to create visual art on computers now. The AI thing, I'm not 100% sure on exactly how successful it's going to be in the long run, because at the moment it's quite faddy, it's quite novel, right? At one of the previous conferences we had an amazing woman called Charlotte Dan who did loads of different ways of creating art, and it was bridging the gap between the physical and the computer. So she used these things called pen plotting machines. I don't know if you've seen them before. Really cool. So you should programming something on the computer, the pen plotter would then draw it out. And you get these really amazing, like unique pieces of art that have translated into this physical space, which is great. But she'd also do just computer generated art, which was really cool. Really amazing patterns that are all unique in their kind of, everyone is different. That's where I kind of like to see the intersection between computer generation and someone's actual creative mind. I think that human input is really important, because you want to see the characteristics of that person, the creativity of that person playing out. And while you can probably do that with AI and different kind of tools around that, when you hand it over to the computer, it just feels a bit more inauthentic to me.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just because I like, things that are more tangible and feel a bit more real. So I don't know. There's definitely a space to make money in it. Without going into NFTs and that whole space, it's really interesting to see what that whole marketplace has created. Some of it is on the boundary of ethics and morality and stuff as well. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think it's exciting. And you see what some of the more traditional artists like Damien Hirst are doing in that space. It could be super cool. But it needs to have the right level of input from humans, and to make sure that...
Yeah, I like that perspective. Yeah.
What's your take on it?
I quite like it, and I'm really into trends. So I like to see where things go and everything else, and even not just in art, in photography, really, in terms of like curling softwares and editing softwares. I've started using them and just see how it really affects my work, and to a good way or a detriment in some ways, because you sort of like releasing the control in some ways. So yeah, but I think there are clear benefits from it. Yeah, at the same time, as you said, there are some dangers, and there are ways that people that perhaps don't have the sort of like I wouldn't say creative maturity, but let's call it that. They don't have that, and just literally come into the industry and I can just literally put everything in a computer and it will spit out everything for me, and I don't actually need to do anything. So yeah, that's what I mean, that where the danger might be.
I think there's definite benefits. I think when you look at it from our point of view of being photographers and being able to outsource certain tasks, I think AI in that respect is already going to be really powerful. But AI in terms of creating individual pieces of art, I think Josh said it, fad for me. That's kind of where I'm at the moment. And
what really worries me is kind of what you're saying, but so flip it around. Like, look at what Instagram filters did to photography in the early days, right? And it's definitely lowering the barrier to entry, which is amazing. It's making it more accessible, but it's taking a lot of the talent and skill out of the whole creation process. And there's absolutely a time and a space for Instagram filters and everything, of course, but people misusing that. Everything looks the same. Everything.
That's it. That's exactly it.
And that's the concern, right? It's like, well, if everything just looks generic, then what have we really gained from it? And that's my worry.
Yeah, completely agree.
Favourite Negroni?
Any Negroni. But a one in the Masseria for me, where I got married. So it's always going to hold because we were waiting for a gap in the rain. I must have had about 10 Negronis waiting to get married.
It really did hammer it down.
Tell me about that day. It was a good day.
I mean, it was like no other day. I mean, part of me was genuinely gutted for them, but then part of me was like, no, come on, guys, you're here in Italy. And I know Elsa was pretty gutted in the morning, wasn't she? And you were understandably kind of concerned, because you care, and you wanted to be outside as well. And just once they had both kind of realised that it wasn't going to change, just accepting it and going, no, we're here to. What I can remember is just this massive like buzz and surge of like kind of adrenaline when everyone's going, no, we're going outside. And like, you've never seen anything like it. Brits, when they're abroad in the rain, go, okay, let's go. Dave's there with all of his umbrellas. And it was like no other ceremony I've ever documented. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I'd literally taken photos and I couldn't see through the viewfinder. And this is before we had EVFs. It was standard optics. And I was taking shots blind, genuinely taking shots blind. And that's how torrential the rain was. But they were just like, no, we're going out. So we've come to
was
Italy to get married outside.
We're getting married outside.
We'd had what two days building up to that, where
Beautiful
it'd been
days.
beautiful
Yeah.
sunshine, and then the day of the ceremony hammers it down.
Yeah, I mean,
But it made the experience, didn't it?
It did.
Weirdly, I don't think anyone would change it.
no, it's cliche, and you say you wouldn't change a thing, but I absolutely wouldn't. On the day, there was a few things that were hard to swallow in terms of what was going on, but looking back and just being grateful for all your family and friends getting absolutely pissing so wet.
Yeah.
And you were around like a madman, just like in trees everywhere, just trying to get photos. And looking back on them, it was our anniversary.
It was just a great day, wasn't it?
Anniversary last week.
Day.
Yeah, and I was just looking at it, and I was just like, I couldn't have had a better day. So yeah, just say fuck it and do it anyway.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Have you seen the trend of Negroni? Is it Spagliata?
Yeah, I'm not buying it.
What is it?
Don't put
What is it? Spagliata?
Spagliata, I think.
Spagliata,
Don't
yeah.
put Prosecco anywhere near that fucking drink.
No. We don't get on with Prosecco, do we, Igor? Igor's a Prosecco
I love my
guy,
Prosecco.
and I'm a
I
champagne
do
kind of
love my
guy. So
Prosecco.
yeah, just found it quite fascinating that one person talked about it in an interview, and then all of a sudden, barmen are like,
Yeah.
literally have not made one before now, and now everybody wants one.
Yeah.
Well, it's a beautiful way to water down the Negroni. If that's what you want to do,
Yeah,
that's
you wanna
fine.
water it down, go for it.
Yeah, it's an upsetting trend. Hopefully, it'll go away.
Clear opinions. Not fired.
Come on, whilst we're on shots fired, you had a stirring question for Josh, didn't you?
Kindish.
I mean, I'm fascinated because I don't even know what it is. So
No, it's mainly with food, and you can take it in so many different ways, really. But if you could only have one cut of meat forever,
well, I
what
thought
would
you
it
were going
be?
to ask him about Skynet.
I was going to save that to later.
You obviously end on
yeah.
Skynet.
Save it for
What about
later.
me?
Because literally looking through your feed, I'm like, whew, Josh really knows about his cuts. Like, you really do. So
It's not a simple answer, sadly. It depends. What meat is it? Beef we're talking about?
yeah, let's go for beef.
How are you cooking it?
You choose.
So,
You choose.
so ideally, you're going to cook it
Shall I
over.
come back in 10 minutes?
Sorry, just put your headphones in everywhere. It needs to be cooked over an open fire, like an open wood grill. It needs to be, there's a place in Leeds called Ox Club that does an amazing job. I think I sent you there.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Which was a mistake, but they do amazing like veggie and vegan
Well,
options too.
you sent me a few Leeds restaurants that look very impressive. Is
The-
it the man behind the curtain?
Yeah, that's. I don't know if they do a vegan veggie one, but yeah, maybe don't go there. That'd be a bad
Okay.
time for you. But
Yeah.
but yeah, no. I think ideally for me, it's got to be something like a ribeye, cooked to perfection, medium rare, left to rest for absolutely ages. The fat's rendered perfectly, served with a bit of bone marrow sauce or something. Having a great time.
Goodness.
Have you seen a previous guest that was on here? Have you seen Ben Block Knives?
I
recent
am a
online?
huge. I've got
Have
a
you-
block. I've got a block knife
Yeah?
myself.
No,
Yeah.
of course you do. I know
Yeah,
that.
I'm absolutely obsessed. He's doing some amazing Conroe grills and stuff at the moment.
Yes.
Good work with Sat Baines as well.
Yeah.
I'm a fanboy.
It's just good to see his product line changing, isn't it? It's been really good to watch from having spoke to him a few months ago on the podcast to seeing those kind of ideas kind of come to fruition.
Yeah.
He's just a really awesome guy. He knows what he wants to achieve, and he's gonna do it. And as you said, to see it kind of evolve a little bit and go into different areas is just ace. And the knives are amazing. Like, they're the best chef's knives. If you're looking for a carbon blade, they're the best you're gonna find. And they're made in Derby, which is great.
There you go.
Puts Derby on the map.
Brilliant.
You know.
Absolutely. Skynet then. What did you want to know about Skynet? Why did you put this question down?
I think, again, Josh is the perfect person to talk about it. I can very much see ourselves as humanity in general, as things are going, just being taken over by something like Skynet eventually. Agree to disagree.
What is Skynet? Can you just...
Okay, if you don't know what Skynet is, first of all, go and do some research in Google. That's for you, to the audience.
Yeah.
But no, not in a jokey way. Skynet, if you watch Terminator, they're basically the AI, that literally takes over the world.
Okay.
And creates Terminators. But yeah.
Discuss.
Right. Okay. Again, I'll come back in 10 minutes.
Again, it's just I find that technology sometimes gets close to dangerous grounds, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And And with that said, I don't know. Will we be here long enough to hang around?
It's a great question. I think it depends. So it depends on the space where that sort of technology is implemented, right? So smart homes, smart technology, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
While there are privacy concerns and edge cases where that might not be great, the actual harm that can come from that is probably less harmful than somewhere like in a hospital or in law enforcement and other areas where there's kind of additional levels of privacy, security, extra rigor around the technology doing the right thing at the right time. So it depends on what areas of Skynet concerns you the most.
For me, it's just in general, but yeah.
Because if you're like these robot policemen or these healthcare has a lot of great benefits to AI, and so it depends on the industry and depends on where your concern is. I think in general with AI and with data science and machine learning and all these sorts of things, usually you have to train models, you have to train technology to work in a certain way. And often it's to try and train it in a predictable way. So if in healthcare, for example, if you've got a robot that's helping perform surgery on someone via some input from a surgeon, it needs to be very predictable. That's not really AI or anything, that's just pure robotics and stuff. So it depends on if there's actual areas where it can go and
horribly wrong.
So Tesla's a common example where people are really concerned about self-driving cars and things like that. We're realistically absolutely miles off that being the truth for everyone, because there's just too many edge cases. It just takes so long to roll that sort of technology out to make it affordable for the mainstream. So I'm not so worried about Skynet, because I think the feasibility of it being financially viable right now probably isn't there, but also I don't know if the tech's quite there either. You see these robots falling over and stuff, and we've still got a long way to go. Don't get me wrong, there's amazing advancements. You've got a dog with a gun or something, that's what I've said. That's fucking terrifying.
This is not the kind of conversation that I thought I'd be having today, but it's fine. I know you gotta cater for the masses. It's fine.
For the masses.
But I think it's Ars Technica or one of the robot companies. They're doing crazy things with weapons and robots. That smells quite wrong. Let's leave that alone. That doesn't need to happen, because that's just going to be something that's going to be used in war, and that's not going to end well. Which, if you look at Skynet and the Terminator, that's exactly what it was. So that's an area I'd like to stop happening. But there's a lot of money in that, so
it probably won't.
Has that satisfied your sci-fi itch that you were clearly having?
Yeah. Aside from favourite sci-fi movie.
Do you know what? I'm not a huge sci-fi fan. Do you know what? I don't really watch TV or anything. I've not got any time. But I just get bored easily. I can't really sit down and watch series very well. I'm very fidgety. But no, just simple things like Schitt's Creek. Just simple, easy-going things that I can just watch and go to sleep.
Switch off.
What inspires you creatively out there at the moment? Any particular brands or businesses that are doing good things, or that you're looking at and going, they've got my attention?
That's a good question. I wasn't ready for that.
You can have a moment. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't know really. There's lots of really nice startups that are coming out trying to do cool things with There's loads of really nice offshoots from Apple at the moment. Nest was a really big thing at the time. There's loads of really cool companies doing smart devices that are really nicely built and really high quality. I think the smart home stuff is still just getting started. I know that there's loads of companies that are claiming to do eco cities and everything, and we're getting there, but we've not really solved it properly. So that space is quite exciting. I think the whole kind of smart city stuff. My friend James, who I run, who did the podcast with, runs an agency called Parallax in Leeds. They're doing loads of really cool stuff with smart street lighting, and how that can really bring. It's really interesting when you look at studies of street lights and you look at how social behaviour revolves very much around the way cities are designed. That sort of space is really interesting, and you should get James on, because he'll talk to you about that, because I can't. That's all I know. But it's just all that sort of stuff's really interesting. How spaces influence people's behaviour. So I think we've got a long way to go with that. That's quite exciting.
And for anybody listening out there that has stuck this episode out to this point, and it's I connect a lot with what Josh is saying in terms of where you're at career-wise and industry-wise. What would be your kind of advice or guidance on somebody wanting to kind of move into this field, or the industry that you're in?
There's loads of programs. There's loads of programs based all over the UK. There's loads of get into tech schemes. There's loads of women in tech and loads of different minority in tech groups that you should definitely go and look at. Also, just go and speak to someone like I did. Go and have a chat with the guy upstairs. No one really is going to tell you to go away. They'll always spare you a bit of time to have a chat and understand how to get into an industry. Come and talk to me. I can signpost you. it'll be a good chat, I'm sure. But yeah, there's just go and have a chat with someone.
It's amazing, isn't it? How like just the simple things again. You've just got to go out and talk to people.
Just connect.
Don't be so. It's like it's okay to have that. It's okay to feel that fear, or that whatever it is that's stopping you doing that. But you sometimes just got to walk through it, haven't you? Just go and have that conversation.
Yeah, go and ask a chef how to cook a steak the perfect way. Go and find out from the people that know. It's just go and it's not really scary once you've done it a few times. It's just the idea of it is more scary than actually doing it, I think. And 90% of the people in the world are really nice people who want to help people. There are obviously some arseholes and we'll ignore them. But yeah, just go and have a chat with people. That's the best place to start.
I love that. The idea is actually more scary than actually doing it.
Yeah. Which is on the money, isn't it?
Yeah. Boom.
Has Josh lived up to the hype for you?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I've got a man crush.
Told you.
I'm looking forward to another one of those hugs. It was a lovely hug.
Yeah.
Honestly. I'm losing my voice as well.
Have you got any other questions?
No, I'm happy.
Well, we have got one final question.
Yes, we do have one final question.
Which is something we've been asking everybody that's been on. Like, there's a final question. If you could speak to the 14-year-old Josh Nesbitt, what would your words of wisdom be to that 14-year-old self?
Ooh, these are tough ones. I don't know, because I genuinely never believed that I would be in this position that I'm in right now. I'm genuinely very fortunate, and I don't forget that. So I don't really know. It's a tough one. Let me think about that one.
We can talk for a second whilst you think about that. He's humble, isn't he?
Yeah. No, I do.
I like that we've just covered so many different things here, and there's not really been like one specific kind of thing we've honed in on. But what I love about Josh is just his ability to just go and just try new stuff, constantly trying new things.
Yeah,
and I think one takeaway from any of this, it's that no matter what it is, you've just got to go and try it.
Yeah, and that's exactly how the conversation has been. It's literally been here, there, but all's got a connecting point really, which is you. And
I've got it now. Got it.
Go on.
No, I wish I'd ignored other people. I think a bit more, because sometimes, especially during that 15 to 25 age range, you will meet a lot of people that say you shouldn't be doing something, or that you're not doing it in the right way. And actually, it's an invalid perspective, because you're still figuring it out yourself. So, I think probably ignore those people a bit quicker, instead of trying to take it on board and try and do it the hard way or do it a different way. Just try and trust the gut a bit more and try and just go with that initial thought. Because I think I held back a bit earlier on in some areas, and I wish I hadn't. But
I think that's kind of a confidence thing, isn't it? As you grow, I think that's it's a tough age to be in when you're 19, 20, and you've got people that are 10, 15 years your superior telling you no.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all conditioned, aren't we?
Yeah.
From an early age to listen to people that are older than us, and actually.
Yeah, exactly. There's one thing that sticks with me. There's someone we're trying to hire for a role, and there's kind of like, these are all just white guys. Why are you not finding better candidates? And someone was like, it's just the way it is. Like, it's just how it is. It's just only people that apply are these people, and you kind of like, that's just a cop out. Like, why are we accepting that, or why are we just So things like that, I wish I'd challenged a bit more and like had the productive, because that person's not being ignorant on purpose or not being dismissive on purpose. They're just doing it because maybe they've run out of steam on something, or
it's
maybe
the easier way to do it. And as you said, they might have run out of steam.
But have the difficult chats and like force the topic and figure out what's going on. Maybe that would be the advice.
Well, you're more than making up for that small regret that you might have, because what you're doing is well, it's quite frankly remarkable, really. Really pushing the industry and inclusivity and diversity, and encouraging you, championing so many other people as well. I love that kind of support that you seem to offer anybody that's around you. Like just saying to people on this podcast, and if you want to reach out to Josh, you can reach out to Josh. It's, not many people would come here and say that. They should do. That's it's a really wonderful skill. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I really enjoyed seeing you again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just going to go over there, have a little man crush, and
we need to get up to Leeds, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, we can do an AGM recce. Come and we'll
have a chat.
Yes, we are.
So yeah, mate, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciated it. How can people get in touch with you or reach out to you if they want to?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. At Josh Nesbitt on Twitter, although with what Elon's doing on at the moment.
God, how do we get through this without talking about
that? Maybe not there for much. So maybe Twitter, at Josh Nesbitt, at Josh Nesbitt on Instagram, at Josh Nesbitt on everything. GitHub if you're on there, it's a big coder community. I'm sure you'll find me. If you Google Josh Nesbitt, it's either me or this massive 6'8" American footballer. So you can easily determine.
I did find him too.
And the conferences?
Heypresents.com. Go there, check them out. We've got the next one on 4th of May next year. We've got a winter social on 24th of November in Leeds, so you should come up for that. Actually, come and have a bev up there.
Amazing.
But yeah, Hey Presents. There's always a schedule of events coming on there. Get in touch. Come and do a talk if you want. Come and have a chat. We can get you on the stage. It doesn't have to be about tech. Just come and have a chat. Come and have a chat.
Amazing. Great stuff. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks very much.
Enjoy your dinner tonight with Sal. Tell her I said hello. Send him on over. And tell Dave we thought about him as well.
Yeah, Dave's not got any airtime. He's only gutted about this. No, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Cheers, Josh. Thanks, mate.
Amazing.
Lovely.